Hi guys, I'm Sam Pierce and this is One Simple Man. Thank you for watching this week's video. It was actually originally going to be about a completely different topic, and I still plan to do that video, probably next week. But yesterday in my reading, I was reading 1 Corinthians 13, and it's a chapter about love and how we as Christians should love each other and everyone else around us. And it's such an important topic, and there's so much in such a short little chapter that I really felt led to make a video about it. And I knew it was going to be, there's a lot to cover here. So I posted a question yesterday on Facebook. I asked you guys if you wanted a long video or several short ones. And unanimously, everyone said that they'd rather have several shorter videos broken up over the next couple days. I guess I'm better handled in small doses. This is the first of those videos. It should be 3 parts that I'll post one a day over the next few days. And like I said, the text here is 1 Corinthians 13. Now I've been intending to work on doing some on-screen text here in case you guys don't have your Bibles handy, and if I get that working, it's going to be right here. If I don't, I'm sorry, maybe next time. I'll see what I can do. But it reads, and I use the King James Version, not necessarily that I think it's, if you don't have it, you're missing out, and every other translation is terrible. But it's what I'm used to. It's what I grew up using, and it's what I'm comfortable with. But there's one thing I should point out before I read. In the King James Version, the word charity is used in this chapter. Most other translations, and even a footnote in the Schofield Bible that I have, indicates that it's, in the modern terms, it's more, it should be translated love. It's not so much that it was a mistranslation, it's just that in the time that the King James Version was translated, love and charity had different connotations. Charity, we think now, is, giving away things, being generous. It meant love at this time. So anyway, though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become a sounding brass, or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy, and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains, and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Charity suffereth long, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was as a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child, I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as I also am known. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these 3, but the greatest of these is charity. Excuse me for a minute. Okay, so for right now, we're going to skip over the first 3 verses. We'll come back to them later, but I'm going to start with verse 4. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up. Now, the suffereth long, which in some translations is just the word patience. The word that's used there, the original Greek, and I'm probably going to butcher this one too, is macrothumein, or something. Close enough. And that word, it means patience, but it's not necessarily just patience with circumstances and events that are happening around you. It's always used in the sense of being patient with people. And a lot of the times that's really the test of our patience, and our love is, we can be, we can act well towards others in rough situations, and that feels like we're doing good. Not that that's not a good thing, but the real test is when we can show love to someone when they are just absolutely getting on our last nerve. And this is something, a lot of this chapter is something that I personally struggle with, and if people who know me know I get very frustrated with people so easily. And it's something I need to work on. But this is a great example, this whole chapter is, but we'll get to that later, of God's love for us. We, all the time, we do things that just absolutely, and we just absolutely do things that rub him the wrong way. Like if he was a human, we'd get punched for the stuff that we do to him. But through all that, he still loves us enough that he sent his son to come die for us. He took on the form of a person, of a human, to come and die for those things that we did to him that just go against everything that he wants for us. And that's as Christians, Christ-like, that's how we're supposed to treat others. We're supposed to, and it's hard, and we don't always do it the way we're supposed to, but we're supposed to try to show that love to others. And it's not necessarily, a lot of people think that if someone does something to wrong you, if you are absolutely in the right to be mad at that person, or in the natural sense of things, for what they did to you, and you just don't pay any attention to it, go on with your life, a lot of people see it as a sign of weakness, that you're either too scared to stand up for yourself, or you don't believe that you're worth standing up for. But it's not. It's a sign of strength. You're taking a situation where the easiest thing to do, and not necessarily just easiest because it's easy for you, but you would, if people know the situation and would think that you were justified in being angry, you have that, in this case, not peer pressure, peer support, I guess, that makes it seem like it's okay, and you turn away from that easy path to take the stance that, no, it's not a big deal, I don't have to get even with them, then that is real strength. In verse 5, sorry, it goes on to say, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, and thinketh no evil. Now, the commentary that I've been reading along with 1 Corinthians is a really awesome commentary. I'm probably going to use it for one of my recommendations for a future video, but I want to read through it completely first before I recommend it, just to make sure. It brings out, the way it phrases this is really interesting, referencing the seeketh not her own. Real love is not so much impressed with the fact that you are bestowing this gift of love on someone. True love is always impressed with the fact that it can be loved, that there is someone who loves you back, not necessarily that you are such a great person that you can bestow the gift of yourself on this other person, but that someone cares enough about you that they love you, and the behaveth, what is it? Sorry. Doth not behave itself unseemly. Now that is, the phrasing there is difficult for us to pick up. The commentary I've been using, they use a slightly different version, and I think the way that it's written in there does not behave gracelessly. And that's, The best way of explaining that, I guess, is that when you really can show love for someone, and this especially applies to other Christians, when they do something wrong, you're able to correct them, to show them what they've done, not with a sense of joy or satisfaction that they've messed up and you haven't, but that you want to correct them so that they can fix what's happened and move on and grow in their life. And another part of that verse is seeketh not her own. And that's we shouldn't spend all our time worrying about what the world owes us. A lot of people have, especially in my generation, unfortunately, have this sense that for some reason the world, there are certain things they expect to get out of life, and they think that that's something that they're owed, that's a right. And it's not. We need to be spending our time thinking more about what we can contribute to the world for the benefit of those around us, and that's showing real love. And verse 6 is, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth. Now, rejoiceth not in iniquity. What Paul's describing there is, sometimes we see someone mess up, and there's a little part of us that kind of enjoys seeing that, because we have this sense of pride that, you messed up, I didn't, and we get pleasure out of that, and it's sick, really. There's not really a word for it in the English language. The German language has a word for it, though. It's Schadenfreude, and I think the definition is a sense of satisfaction at seeing someone else fail. And there's nothing loving about that. It's a symptom of letting pride creep in your life. Okay, so verse 7 says, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, and endureth all things. To believe all things doesn't necessarily mean that, someone comes to you with some random, ridiculous story that you're automatically going to take them at their word. But it means to believe that other people around you, to believe the best in them, not necessarily assume the worst, that they're gonna mess up, that they're gonna stab you in the back, that we should be showing a faith that they can do the right thing. And a lot of the times, people will become what you believe they are. If you show someone, especially if it's someone that you're in an authority position over, if you show them that you believe that they can do something, they will normally try to live up to that expectation. And where maybe before it wasn't true, maybe they couldn't do it, but they will work to get to that point where they live up to your expectation of them. And the reverse is true too. If you just constantly drag someone down, tell them that they can't do anything, you're constantly berating them, they see no reason to try. And again, that's something that really spoke to me when I was reading this, because that's something that I have trouble with. Like I said, I get frustrated with people and I open my mouth before my brain starts working a lot of the times. That's something that we'll be working on. And hopeth all things. Now that goes hand in hand with believing the best in people. You want to hope for the best thing possible for them. It's not so much that it's different from believing in them. It's hoping that even though they may have trouble and they're still working on things, that they will get to whatever destination God has for them, and they will take the right path. And you want good things for them in their life. And endureth all things. Now this one is kind of interesting. The word, and I'm not even going to try on this word. If I get the on-screen text going, I'll have it right here. If not, you can look it up. But the word endure here is not just it's not a passive thing. It's not to be able to sit there and take it. It's actually a very active word. It's almost a like a call to action. It means to take something and bend it and use it. Now, if this goes back to someone wronging you, if you are really going to show them love, you don't just stand there and take it. You will absorb that information and use it to show love to them. A good example is, say you come into work and someone, first thing you say to them immediately, they don't want to talk. They're in a bad mood. You do something a little wrong, they start yelling. Now, a passive interpretation of enduring that would be just to ignore them and go on with your day. But what true love that Paul is saying here does, this word endure, would be to take that and process that information and think, okay, they must be having a bad day. Something must have happened earlier. So let's see if we can figure out what's going on and see what we can do to help them, because that is the best way to show God's love in this person's life. And that's something you have to be constantly on the lookout for, because there are always opportunities to do this. We just have to be looking for them. And when you do, it may not always make sense to anyone else around you, and it doesn't feel natural to us, because it's not. Our flesh doesn't want to do that. We want to just snap back at them and keep going, just ignore them. But it's also a form of sacrifice. You're taking that natural, selfish inclination and laying it down in order to show God's love to this person. That's a form of you're sacrificing your fleshly impulses to further God's kingdom, and it's a great thing. And that's excuse me. It's one of the best things we can do to show God's love to those around us. This video is probably going on pretty long for one of my compared to my other one so far. So we're going to go ahead and cut it off here, and I will have a new one up tomorrow, and we're going to cover probably verses 8 through 12. And come back and watch it. Please, in the meantime, if you like this video, go ahead and like it, comment, go ahead and subscribe, share the video, get the word out. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, before I forget, the recommendation today, the media recommendation, is the song "Give Me Your Eyes" by Brandon Heath. It's a great song about the importance of seeing people around us through the way that God sees us, looking past all the weird outward stuff and what they may do to us, and to really see the opportunity to love them and to show God's love for us. It's an awesome song. I'll have a link to the Amazon page in the description. Go check it out. Go buy it. And alright, I'll see you guys tomorrow. So this is Sam Pierce. I'm one simple man serving an awesome God.